Now, I gotta tell you, I gotta come on here and apologize because I did not give this movie the credit that it is due, but it was based on the trailer, I promised you. And if you haven't gone watch this movie, Is God Is, which came into theaters this weekend, please go out and watch it.
To see God.
God.
She made us, didn't she?
Girls, I'm gonna make this real simple. Make your daddy dead. Real dead.
This seem a little crazy.
Not as crazy as setting your wife on fire in front of your kids, then abandoning them.
On the surface, this seems like a revenge movie where these two twin sisters go after their father to unalive him for something that he did to them and their mother. But this movie goes like far beyond that. This is a movie about trauma, generational issues, and how like violence can essentially hurt others around us. As these two sisters go on this journey to basically seek out revenge, you can tell how it essentially changes each one of them. One becomes more hardened and actually starts to enjoy what they're doing, while the other one basically tries to hold on to empathy. I think that's part of what makes the movie feel so complex and not just on like some action tip. At one point, they even visit a former friend of their father who warns them that when you seek revenge, you don't know where the blood is going to end up laying. What really made this movie interesting to me was how they took the revenge genre and laid it out in terms of black women. While a lot of revenge movies focus on male rage, this definitely touched on the silence that black women specifically have to go through once they experience trauma. It touches on this concept that women, specifically black women, have to accept trauma until they no longer can accept it. And then that's when they go to seek out revenge. It mixes mythology and it mixes religion, all in a fun and a unique perspective. The title within itself, Is God is not by accident. I feel like it's very intentional. In fact, they even treat their mother as some type of God. And it touches on this concept of like fate and like choices that we make and whether or not when we actually seek justice on our own, does it actually heal things or should we leave it in the hands of God? In fact, it's quite ironic that at the end it is through all these actions and ultimately the demise of certain characters that other characters end up becoming free. Visually, this movie was stunning. I gotta tell you, this movie really hit spot on to what would be like dreamlike, or in many places, it kind of felt that way, like it was all a dream happening. And that's not by accident. I mean, this movie was essentially first written as a play, and it shows throughout the text. Even in the concepts of their dialogue with one another, like mentally, comes off as poetry within the text and the subtitles. Let me tell you, shout out to Sterling K. Brown in this movie. While this man did not have a huge role in this movie, when I tell you take your 15 minutes of fame and make something of it, this man killed this role. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not necessarily a fan of his on shows and other things he's been on, but he nailed this role. I don't want to hear no type of slander when it comes to him in this movie. Karen Young, Mallory Johnson, you cannot tell me that they were not sisters in real life, because the type of chemistry they had, you can only feel for them and the things that they go through throughout this movie. Shout out to the people that were not leading characters, supporting characters. Shout out to Janelle Monáe. Shout out to Vivica A. Fox, who I gotta tell you, she only had a short screen time, but she played her role phenomenally as well. She has come a long way since the old school Vivica A. Fox that we know, but she played her role to a T. Honestly, I thought this movie was gonna be like that movie with SZA and Keke Palmer, One of Them Days, where two girls kind of go on this like adventure, but it was so far from that. And I think if you go into this movie expecting comedy, it's not really horror either. But it does touch on different topics that I think are worth addressing. And I do think that you got to give credit where credit's due. The first 15 minutes I was kind of like, where's this movie going? But then once you get into it and it gets better, I will tell you it's a phenomenal movie. If you're expecting some type of happy ending or closure where you figure out what happens at the end, you're not going to get that from this movie. I think at the end of this movie, it left me wondering, like, whether or not familiar trauma actually ends up going away despite all that you might do to get out of that family trauma. But it's definitely worth the watch. If you haven't watched it, please, when I tell you, go watch it this weekend. And I know Obsession is out this weekend too, which I'm also going to go see today. But please go watch it. Let me know what you think in the comments if you did see it. If not, go watch it. But as always, like and follow for more.